Okay, sir. All right, guys. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. All right, guys. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Okay. So, did you guys understand what we have discussed till now regarding the other sessions? Vulnerability assessment, then scanning, footprinting, and all. Ram Ram. Okay. Good evening. All right. So today we are going to see the exploitation and post-exploitation section, right? So we are going to see this in the Metasploitable 2 machine. Okay. So what I have done is, this is our IP address. So beforehand, I have performed the nmap scan. Okay, so that we don't take any more time for that. Okay, now coming to the point, we are going to use MSF console, right? Metasploit framework for the exploitation. Okay, all right. So we will start with this first one, that is port 21 vsftpd 2.3.4. Okay, so yesterday I have told you there is a particular methodology that you need to follow, right? First you need to do what? You need to ping, right, to see that even your target is alive or not. Then you need to perform your nmap scan, right? Depending on whatever your requirements are, you can select your flags, right? So now we know that this Metasploitable 2 machine is a intentionally vulnerable machine, right? So this has given us more information. Right now, we are going to start our MSF console. Okay. All right. So one more thing you can do before starting your MSF console is that searching for this vulnerability in your search exploit, right? So I mentioned it yesterday. After you find something from your nmap scan, you can check this out. Okay. So we have seen that there are two exploits of this, right? One is based on Ruby and another is on Python, right? So coming to MSF console, we can do search vsftpd. Okay, and you will see that this is also giving us two exploits. Okay, or two ways we can exploit this machine, right? Now if you use this one, right, like exploit unix ftp vsftpd 234 backdoor, right? So we are going to use number one, right? You can also write the entire path, right? Right. So this way also you can implement your exploit. Okay. Now the very first thing we need to do is show options, right? So there you will see, after you do this, you will see what are the information that is required to run your exploit, right? So here you will see C host, C port, proxies, R host, and R port, right? So this is based on vsftpd, which is running on FTP port, right? So the port was predefined. Now we just have to add our R host. Okay, so we are going to set our host, right? And this will be the IP address of our target machine. So our host means remote host, right? So this is done, and just see it again, right? So this has been fixed over here. Okay, all right. Now we are going to exploit, or you can type run also. Okay, so I will press just exploit, and you can see this is giving us a root shell. Okay, UID and GID, which is mentioning root. Okay, now our command shell session one opened, right? So we have got our session. So we can write and check who am I, and you will see it is mentioning root. Clear? You can type other commands as well, like ls, and see what are the things present in it. CD home, and let's see what is there. Okay, right. So this was one way of exploiting this machine. Now we are going to see another method. Okay, coming to the nmap scan, you will see there are different kind of services and ports that are open. Okay, so what we will do, we will just scroll down a little bit and search for Samba. Okay, SMB, right? So here you will see port 139 and 445 are open, and NetBIOS is the like service that is running in it, and you will see here is the version mentioned, right? Now what we are going to do, we are going to search about SMB, right? So search Samba and user map. Let's see. Okay, so this is only one. So before doing that, you can what? You can just copy this out and search in your browser as well to get more information about it. Okay, just go there and paste it out. Right. So here you will see Samba username map script command execution. Let's see what is that. Okay. So this will give you a description about the exploit, the module exploits. This module exploits a command execution vulnerability in Samba version 3.0.20 through 3.0.25 RC3 when using the non-default username map script configuration options. Okay, so you can go through it and you can see like this. This is the module option and the methodology and the steps what you need to perform in your MSF console, right? So here you will see the same exploit is present over here. You can just copy this out from here and just, for example, search and paste it. It will give you the same result as above, right? So this is the entire thing. Okay. So you will see here Samba username map script command execution. Okay. Right. Now what we are going to do, we are going to say use 0, right? Or you can write this entire path as well. Okay. Now we are going to do show options, right? So here also, I guess we need to fill out just one thing, that is the R host. Okay. So what we will do, set R host 192.168.1.13, right? And again check the options and you will see this is set, right? Okay, now exploit and see what happens. Okay, the session 2 is open. Let's try who am I, and it's giving root, right? So what is happening over here is like this is our intentionally vulnerable machine, right? I have been mentioning that multiple times. So for that reason only we are getting direct root shell. Okay, but if you see in other kind of CTFs or any other kind of machines, then what happens is first you have to gain one shell and from there you have to perform privilege escalation or other things to gain the root shell. Okay, now this is the ultimate level of exploitation, right? The like objective is to gain the root access or the root account, right? So we have got this over here. Now we will see another method how we can perform this, right? So let's search for this MySQL and PostgreSQL. Okay, so if you see over here, this port 5432 is open and PostgreSQL DB, this is showing, right? So we will copy this out and search in our browser. Okay, and see what we can find about this, right? Okay, so let's see over here. PostgreSQL. Okay, so what we can do, we can this time try this out, right? So just copy this and paste this in search, right? So let's use 0 and show options. And here also you just need to provide the L host and R host, right? So everything else is predefined or not required. Okay. Okay, so this one is saying no, but still we are going to do that. And let's see what happens. So set R host 192.168.1.13 and we will require the L host, right? Right, and let's see what we can get from here, right? So show options and pretty much everything is working. All right, let's just click on exploit. Yeah, see, we got meterpreter shell. So we do id. Okay, so type on help and see what are the things you can perform. Okay, so after typing help, you will see the list of commands that we can perform here, right? So okay, so let's do this dir command. Okay, so these are the directories, right? So here you will see the root.crt, that is root certificate, right? So we can try something different in this case. Let's do the pwd first and see where we are. Okay, so if we do cd root, operation failed. Okay, now let's try if we can do any of this. Screenshot command is not supported by this meterpreter shell. Okay, so web chat, web list, web stream, sysinfo, we can do sysinfo. Okay, so from here you will see this, that is OS is Ubuntu 8.4, Linux 2.6.24 to 16 server, right? And the architecture is over here, and meterpreter, that is x86 Linux, right? So here you need to like check out what are the information, as much as information you can gather from there. And if you do if config, you will see the IP address of your target machine over here, right? So this one seems like this is presented in the command prompt kind of format, right? So if you just check the commands only, you will see this is mentioning dir instead of ls, right? So this is in command prompt only, right? Okay, so this was another way. Now we can do another thing, that is, let's go back to our nmap scan. So the objective of showing this multiple ways of exploitation is that if you look into your nmap scan a bit deeper, you will be able to find multiple ways of exploiting a machine, right? So if you see, it is mentioning MySQL and question mark over here. Okay, so let's see if we can gather any other information about MySQL or not. Okay, so what port this was? This was 3306, right? So we will clear this out in map and we will put -p 3306, right? And run this test. So this is saying MySQL 5.0.51a 3 Ubuntu, right? So if you see this, what I did over here, that in the previous scan, it was not showing any particular detail about that 3306 port, right? So what I did, I ran another scan that was particularly regarding that port only. Okay, so this time it gave us more like varied and versatile and depth information about this port, right? So I would suggest you add this in your methodology, while solving any kind of boxes. Okay, so whichever port is not showing much information, you can rather do a nmap scan dedicated for that port only. Okay, so this one is also giving the OS information over here. All right, now let's see, just type exploit. Okay, so here you will see, let's go with this exploit db. Okay, database privilege escalation. Okay, so is there any step? All right, so this one isn't mentioning much. So what we can do, we can just come to our meta MSF console and search for MySQL, right? Now this will give you a multiple and varied list of things. So for that, we need to check our nmap scan in more detail, right? So here you will see MySQL this, MySQL info, protocol this, threat capabilities, status is this, salt, right? This salt. So how many of you know that what salt is and what is the relation between salt and hash? Can anyone tell me? What is the difference between this, or the relation between this salt and hash, right? Encryption technique, right? Salt is a personal addition to the algorithm. Okay, salt increases the complexity. Yeah, this one is more specific. Salt makes password more secure. Okay, so salt is what, when you are creating one hash of your password, right? So you have created your hash in whatever format, that is md5 or ntlm, whatever it is. So what we do, we add our salt in that, right? So that is this salt is a unique identifier for that password, right? So it might happen that the hash that is present in our device, for example, we have exploited a machine, we have done the privilege escalation, and we have done multiple other steps, and from there we are able to like dump the hashes of the user, right? Now it might very well happen that the user is not using a like very secure password. Okay, so in that case, this salting will do what? There is a hash present, let's suppose, whatever the format of the hash is. Okay, let's suppose the hash is something like this. Like, now we will add a salt of the term something like, let's do salt, like this is the term, right? Salt with hash, right? So this is the salt, and what we will do, we will encrypt this one again with respect to this term, right? So with this term, we will do whatever algorithm we prefer, and we will make another hash which is a bit more secure compared to this one, right? So this is the benefit of the salt. So by that, you should understand one thing, that if they are doing a salt, then there might be any kind of login functionality, right? So let's search for SQL that is related to any kind of salting process or login, right? So what we can do, let's just search for SQL version, right? So here is only one thing, that is auxiliary scanner. Okay, this is not a exploit, this is a scanner, because we are not getting much information about this MySQL service, right? So we will use this and we will try to scan our target with this. Okay, so we will do use 0, right, and show options. Okay, so in this one also you just need to provide your R host. Okay, so set R host 192.168.1.13, right? Okay, now I guess we don't need to provide anything else, and just exploit it. Auxiliary module completed, scan 1 of 100. So this is running MySQL, this only. Okay, so I guess we didn't get anything much more detailed than this. Now let's further check this. Okay, so in that case we will do why not just try for MySQL login. Let's just try it. Okay, so auxiliary scanner MySQL login. Okay, so let's just use this and see if we can find something else about this or not. Okay, so show options, false, 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 false. Just our host you need to provide. These ones are set. Blank password is true. Okay, so set our host 192.168.1.13, right? And we will run this scanner. Auxiliary scan completed. Found remote MySQL version. Okay. No active database. Credential data will not be saved. Failed login root. Scanned one of one host. Brute force completed. 0 credentials were successful. You can open MySQL session with this credential and create session set to true. Okay. So by this, you can see that we can use this auxiliary scanner for scanning any particular service on which we are not getting much information from the nmap scan, right? Okay, so another thing, if you come over here, let's search for anything else that might be present. Okay, so clear this out, nmap, and remove this and see if we get anything else from this or not. Okay, so 22 will not work. This is telnet, SMTP, domain, Apache, HTTPD. Okay. Okay. PostgreSQL. Apache, this one. Let's just do one thing. Let's just open this in our browser, right? And see what is running over here. So if you just check this out, Vapalizer. So you will see web server is Apache HTTP server, Ubuntu, and this. So what we will do, we will just try to see if there is any kind of error message or not. Okay, so this is saying Apache 2.2.8 dev2. Okay, all right. So this support 80 is not giving anything much. Okay, no issues. Then what we can do, anything else we can exploit from here? Apache Tomcat, right? Here port 8180 TCP open HTTP Apache Tomcat. Let's just copy this and search this out. Okay, let's search this out. So here Apache Tomcat Coyote. Okay. All right, so I guess we cannot find anything here. We just have to use our search exploit. Oh god, so Apache Tomcat has multiple vulnerabilities. 8081, where is that? Coyote, Apache Coyote. Let's search this one. 5.5, right? Okay, so this one is giving us certain information, right? So if we are finding something in the search exploit, then probably we will find something in Metasploit as well. Right, so just let's clear it out. Search Tomcat 5.5. Okay, and see which one we can use. exploit multi HTTP Tomcat MGR deploy. Okay, Tomcat MGR upload. We don't have anything to upload. So let's just go with this number one, right? Use one and show options. Okay, here also we just need to put the R host. So if you just check over here, the payload is kind of different, right? Java, interpreter, reverse, TCP. Okay, so we will just set the R host and type the IP address, right? And just run this. Exploit completed, but no session was created. Okay. Yes, the payload is fixed. Exploit. Failed error requesting manager service info aborted due to failure, no target. Unable to automatically set a target. What is wrong? I am providing a target, right? Show options. So our host is fixed. Okay. Okay, so the L host is also fixed. The username. Okay. So we have to provide the username HTTP as well. So set username. Let's just do Tomcat. Right. Unknown data store option. And set password. That is also Tomcat. Right. Or we just have to provide this, right? So just Control Shift C, set this and Tomcat. Okay, and you have to do this Tomcat. Okay, and what was the target? Set target is 0. Let's for the time being, and set our port will be 8081. Okay, so you have to change the port and the target, right? Because we have seen in the nmap scan this was running on port 8081, right? So port 80 over here will not work. Okay, now we will just see if we can exploit this or not, right? Again the same issue. Okay, yeah, username and password is not required, but like we have tried. Just show options again and see. It's not required, but still we are providing it. Okay, so we have set the R host, right? We have set the L host, and the L host and L port will be the same only. Set username, HTTP username is Tomcat, HTTP password is password Tomcat, right? And we have set the target to 0. Set R port is this. So just click on exploit again. Due to no target enable. Okay, set target 1. Right, now run this. The deploy path, no response. Okay, so we might have to just change the path of this. Okay, so as this one is deploy, let's change this to deploy only. Okay, set what's the parameter path, right? Path is /deploy. Okay, now run this. Okay, upload field on this. Okay, so the path will by default be manager only. Okay, so this is happening. I don't know what is wrong with this, right? It should have worked. All right, so let's just move on. Okay, we don't have time to just sit for one target only, right? Now, like previously we have seen so many ways, like 3 to 4 ways to exploit this, right? So one was the vsftpd, another one was with our Apache, right? Then there was Samba, and another one was there. Let's see. Okay, so now the objective here is Like if you see, if you are working towards a CTF kind of point of view, no, then there what will happen? First, you will either get FTP or you can do some default SSH login, and from there you will get some secret file, right? Yeah, OS top 10 and web application session we will conduct tomorrow or on Monday. Okay, so no worries. Right, so what happens when you are working in a CTF or any kind of box? Then you might get a default FTP or SSH. From there you will either get any kind of secret file, or from there you will be able to get any service that is vulnerable, right? From there, from that shell, you have to upload your, like, the, what should I say? For example, if you are uploading your PHP reverse shell, right, or any kind of bash shell to perform your privilege escalation, right? So that is privilege escalation is one of the most important thing when it comes to your exploitation and post exploitation, right? So here, if you see, if you just do FTP and the IP address of your target, you will see you are able to get a anonymous login, right? So you have got the anonymous login over here. So let's check the commands over here. Is the wget working? Wget invalid command. Okay. In that case, you can use this get command also. Okay. So what you can do from here is you can perform this get command or wget, right? So we will see another example, which is from try hack me. Okay. So for performing your privilege escalation, this Linux privilege arena. Okay. So what you have to do, you just start your machine over here, and we will see the different ways you can perform your privilege escalation from this. So I don't need this one. No. Just remove this. Okay. So machine will start. Let's just start our VPN connection. Clear this out. CD downloads open VPN. Right. So this shall start. We will clear this out. Okay. Now if you just go to your access page, okay, so the connection has established. So just wait for your IP address to pop up. Okay, now the thing in this one is this will run another server, right? That is based on Linux machine. So it might happen that it will take 2 to 3 minutes to respond to the ping request. Okay, so you have to wait for 2 to 3 minutes, right, before you will receive any kind of ping. All right, so the IP address is over here. Now if I just copy this out and try to ping this, so you will see it is not pinging currently. So just let's wait for a little bit longer. So I would suggest this is a free lab, guys, so you can practice this as well. There is Windows Privilege Arena and there is Windows Privilege Arena. You should practice both. Okay, so let's see, is it pinging now? Not yet. Okay. 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 Now it is running. All right. So if you check this one here, you will be able to access this with SSH, right? And the username password is provided over here, TCM and hacker123, right? So let's just connect to it, SSH TCM at the IP address, right? Just yes, hacker123, right? So here we have got one shell, that is SSH shell, right? So if you come to this, we are not going to follow this path that is provided in here. I will just tell you what are the things you need to perform when you have like gained one shell. Okay, so the first thing you should check is the host name, and that is Debian. And if you do ID, so ID is TCM, that is 1000, and group is users group. Okay, so this means that it is not a part of the root user group. Okay, now if you do uname -a, you will see this is the kernel version of it. Okay, so like knowing the kernel version is very important, okay guys, because when we will see the like linps or linenum kind of scripts that we can run, okay, in that case what will happen if your kernel is like, let's suppose it is single core or two core, and the exploit runs for 4 core or 5 core or 6 core, whatever it is. So it might happen that the 4 core version will not work for the single core version. Okay, so for that reason, knowing the kernel version is very important. Okay, so from this we can understand that here we need to perform our privilege escalation. Okay, so our the creator of the lab TCM has already provided certain like scripts for our exploitation. Okay, so the dirty cow is there, linenum, linps, and Linux exploit suggesters, right? So we will see the links of this and we will do this by ourselves. Then we will go into the things provided earlier, right? So I guess linps you are familiar with. Okay, so this is one of the script you can download and you can just wget or get command, and you can like host it from your system and download it there, right? Another one is linenum, right? We have seen there enum. Okay, that is enumeration, right? So what happens here is like this process is called post-exploitation enumeration, right? To gain or to perform privilege escalation. Okay, and another one that was Linux exploit suggester. Exploit all right, so these are the GitHub repos from here where you can download the script, right? So linenum.sh is here, the linps.sh you will also find somewhere here. Okay, and coming to the Linux exploit suggester, let's go there. Right, so here is the script. Okay, I will just tell you that do some self research and you will be able to find this very easily. Okay, I'm not providing you the link again. Okay, so what this will do, this will perform the like exploitation automatic exploitation for you, right? So before going into automatic exploitation, we need to perform some system enumeration by ourselves, which are manual, right? So ps-aux, how many of you know this? What is the function of this command? Let me know in the chat section, guys. What is the function or the purpose of this ps-aux command? Tell process running, process command logs. Okay, so what this command does is this will list out the processes that are currently running, right? So this is just looking into your service manager, right? For Windows, when you are watching your task manager or service manager, this ps-aux works for our Linux, right? So here you will see these are all these processes are running currently, and some of them are running as root. Okay, some of them are daemons, some of them are ww data. Okay, so if you check over here, there is Apache 2 running, and for the next one you will see there is nginx running, right? And there are 3 processes that are running for TCM currently, right? So this is the sshd. You will see this is the process with which we logged in into this ssh shell, right? So these are the basic information that you will be able to gather from this command, right? So another important command is sudo -l, right? So this will tell us like the groups or the files or folders which we can access or use without root permission, right? So you will see we can use nano over here. So you can do another thing is like from the GitHub repo only, you will be able to copy this, and if you open a nano shell like nano linpiece.sh, and maybe you will be able to copy and paste it over here as well, right? Now another thing we need to check is it showing the contents of this? Yes, it is showing, right? So the root user is over here, the id, gid, uid, right? And there is tcm, and there are other users as well. Now another thing what we need to check is cat hc shadow, right? So this is like exposing the like root user and tcm user hashes as well. Okay, so what you can do, you can copy this hash and crack, right? Now if like okay, so we have got the hash command right. Now another thing that you can perform is like see the history, right? What are the commands which have been performed earlier of our login? So you will see wget linpiece.sh. So this was performed by our creator, right? So this linpiece is already present. Then there is linenum, and you will see mysql -h some host.local -u is root, and password is this, right? So you are getting a mysql username and password, okay, in the history tab only. So this is one of the most like you should look into the history command to check if anything is exposed there or not. Now coming to the next one is if you see mkdir linux exploit suggester cd this nano this and chmod plus x, right? So this linux exploit suggester.sh has been already provided the executable permissions, right? Now coming to the next one, if you see this they are downloading this linpiece.sh as well, and chmod plus x here also, right? And same for linenum. So by this we can see that we will be able to run these commands, right? Because the permissions are already preset by the root user. Okay, now another thing you can perform is like doing IPA. Let's see what are the networks it is connected to, right? So in case any kind of tunneling or any kind of proxies which are configured with this machine, you will also be able to see that, right? So that concept you will cover when you will study about pivoting, right? So what happens in that, this is our network in the middle. What we can do is I will show you. Okay, so by that I mean is this is our, let's suppose, target machine. Okay, and it is connected to two different networks, two or more. Okay, now what is happening when we as an attacker gain access to this machine? This is the target and this is the attacker. What we can do is when we have gained some access on the target machine, we will be able to view the network configuration as well, right? So from there also we can find out that configuration for this network, let's suppose this is network 1, okay, and this is network 2. So we can view the network configuration of this network 1 and network 2 as well. Okay, so this is the basic concept of pivoting. What we are doing that, let's suppose we have gained access to this target machine through this network 1, right? So what pivoting means is through this network, like let's suppose we are here, we are the attacker over here, right? So we have gained access to this target through this network, and we will make some certain changes in the system to gain access to this second network, right? So this is what pivoting looks like. Okay, and the basic understanding of the word pivot is what? You are here going to this one, from there you are going to another one, from there you are going to another one. So the role of pivoting here, if you see, is, so let's suppose we are working in an Active Directory kind of environment. Okay, now that Active Directory has one internal network of itself, right? And it is connected to an external network. Okay, so if we are somehow able to get access to that Active Directory or the domain controller of that Active Directory, right? So being an attacker, if we are able to get access to this, then we, by some methods, we will be able to get access to the network configuration of this machine, right? And the other external networks that it is connected to. So from there we will pivot, and from by pivoting we will be able to get access to the external network, right? And from there we will be able to perform any kind of other scanning and exploitation to find out, are there any more vulnerable machines in there or not. Okay, so this is the basic understanding of pivoting. Okay guys, so here this doesn't seem like hosting any kind of other network as well, so let's just be with it. Okay, so you can do another command, that is IP route. Okay, so from this you will be able to see the IP routes and the routes that are configured in this. So if you check it out over here, you will see this is the VPN IP address of the machine, and this is the internal network in which it is connected. Okay, all right, so these are some basic enumerations you can perform. Now coming to, let's start with linps only. Linps. Okay, and if you just do ls, you just have to run this linps.sh. Okay, and from there let's go to the start. So linps is one of the most famous script, right? You can perform for your after or post exploitation enumeration. Okay, so here you will see it is mentioning red/yellow 99% a PE vector. This is privilege escalation vector, right? Red, you must take a look, light kind, that is user with console and other things. So the most important ones that you need to check is the red and yellow. Okay, so we will check out that. So any private information inside environment variables is this. All right, then coming to the red ones are we have done the psox command, right? So this is also doing it for us. So here you will see these are the services that are running with root permission. Then there is daemon, then there is www data, then there is tcm, right? Now coming to the next one, binary processes permission, we don't need to see that. Okay, so here also nothing much. So this is the local host that is hosting in port 771. Okay, so this is also performing the sudo -l command for us, right? You will see over here, and it is telling us that the same things we found by ourselves manually, this is performing that automatically, right? So in case if you are not able to like do anything or wget permissions, or if you're not having anything like nano or vim, in that case you have to perform the manual enumeration only. Or if you are getting this nano or vim permission or the wget permission, then you can download this linpiece and you can execute it. Okay, so in certain cases you might not require the root permission to run this. Okay, so you don't need to worry about that. So this over here is performing the cat hc password, right? So here you will be able to see the usernames that are present, that is root and tcm, and here this is showing the uid and gids of the users. All right, all right, all right. Okay, okay. So permit root login port 22 is yes. Okay, all we need is the root password. Okay, so we will try that also. Signing in as root. Okay, so this is the output of the hc shadow file, right? Then there is temp backup tar.gz. Okay, okay. All right. So these are showing the passwords. All right. Find emails inside logs. So if you see over here, they are performing a search with the word passw in it. Okay. So with the search operator, that is file command minus f and minus t, you will be able to get the output like this. Okay, so they are performing it over here and nothing seems much useful over here. All right, let's check this out. pwd and pssw, nothing much. Okay, so we were not able to find anything much from this. Now let's run our lin enum, right? So ls cd lin enum. Okay, it's ls and just run this lin enum.sh, and let's see how they are putting out the details in this. Okay, so this is also pretty much giving the same type of result only. Okay, the difference is the lin piece is a little bit more beautiful than this. Okay, so I have done this before, guys. So from this can also you will not be able to get anything much from there. So if you remember, we have done one thing, that was when we were performing the history command, then you will be able to see over here that there is a MySQL host, right, minus u root, and that is password. So we can try this password and root user in the SSH. We will do that in the last. Let's just check out the Linux exploit suggester. Okay, this is a good script. So Linux exploit suggester. Linux. Okay, just ls and do this, right? Okay, so you will see there are multiple vulnerabilities or exploits that this script is giving us. So you can either check it out all by yourself. For the sake of this session, we will just go with the dirty cow. Okay, this is a very dirty and very famous vulnerability, okay, or exploit. Okay, there it is giving also the CVE number as well. So we will in this case just use the dirty cow. Okay, so just move out from this, and if you check it out, the dirty cow is already present over here. Okay, so cd dirty cow and ls, this is a .cow c file, .c file. Okay, so in that we have to like just automatically we have to compile this. Okay, so gcc minus f c0w.c and minus o is dirty cow. Okay, unrecognized. Oh, sorry. So we will just do gcc minus p thread c0w.c, and the output will be dirty cow. Okay, so this will compile this for us, and if you just ls, then just / dirty cow, and this should do our job. Okay, so if you see over here, it is backing up the user bin password to temp/backup. Okay, this /back is backup. Okay, let's just give it some time to run. Okay, so I am just showing this in fast forward mode. Okay, because we don't have much time, but I will suggest you guys take a look by yourself and check that Rapid7 and exploit db for this dirty cow vulnerability and exploit, and you see what are the other parameters you can use as well. Okay, so let this run. How long it is gonna take? All right, it performed this madvice 0 ptrace 0, and let's just type passwd and you will get the root shell. Okay, so if you do just ls, you will see dirty cow. Let's move to root cd. Okay, So ls, so root folder is empty, I guess. So cd home, no such directory. Okay, so this one seems like where were we before this? We were in root tools, right? So cd/tools. What is wrong again? Again, see the issue prevails. Let's just do tools. Okay, so now let's go to tools. Again, the same issue, man. All right. So here you will see that when you have run this dirty cow exploit C file, okay, and when you did this passwd, you are getting the root at Debian, right? So this is the root user. Now in this case, the root folder is empty, so you are not getting anything, okay. But in case you are solving any kind of CTFs, the like flag.txt is supposed to be in this root folder only, right? So we will just exit out from this. Okay, exit from this. So we have seen that this is how the dirty cow works. Now we will just try that SSH. Instead of TCM, we are going to do root, okay, and we will provide the password PASSW0RD321, right? Let's wait for it. All right, so that doesn't seem to work here. Okay, let's just scroll up and see what that password was. Password 123. Okay, sorry. So password 123. So see, you will be able to log in as root from there also. Like there was no need to perform all this if you like checked the history file properly. Okay, now I have shown this to just give you an example, but in case of any kind of CTF or solving any box, always check the history command. Okay, so this one was easier way of logging into the machine. Okay, so this is it for today's session, the exploitation and post exploitation. Okay, so if you like wanted to see the post exploitation part, that will require active directory kind of thing. Okay, and like showing that is not possible currently. Okay, so that dirty cow, if you check the, let's just dirtycow rapid 7. Okay, that is the syntax of this exploit only. Okay, so let's just go with Linux dirty cow. All right, let's check this out. Okay, so here if you check the versions of the dirty cow, okay, so for the dirty cow vulnerability, the kernel version is very important. That's the reason I was telling you to get the information about the kernel and the system, right? So I guess I have erased it. So when we are doing that ls cpu, okay, or what we have done earlier, we have done the command. Let's just check me out. So when we were doing the, let's see, the host name, I guess. So sorry, not the host name. Yeah, the LSCPU only. Okay, so with this LSCPU, you will be able to get the architecture of the system, right? And the kernel version, okay, that I mentioned earlier. So that kernel version is very important when you are solving the like using the dirty cow. So dirty cow has many different versions and that of it. Okay, yeah, the uname command. Okay, so here you will be able to see the kernel version, right? So Linux Debian 2.6.32. So there is a range of versions for one particular version of Dirty Cow. So you can see it, and according to your need, you can select the exploit, right? So in that also you will see that mentioning that passwd command will give you like access to the root. Okay, this is just the like catalyst for gaining the root. Okay, so any more doubts, guys? Any doubts, any questions? So tomorrow we are going to cover the reporting part of it, and on Monday we are going to cover the OWASP top 10 and web application vulnerabilities. Okay, so any doubt, guys? Any questions? All right, so this is it for today's session. It was great having you guys here. Thank you so much for being present, and good night, guys.